Welcome to the PI Podcast, your destination for everything NFL, discussing the latest news and providing in-depth analysis of every NFL game. And now, here are your hosts, Ian and Tesh.
Hey guys, what is up? PI Podcast back with episode number 64. And Uno, I see you first. How you doing, Uno? Glad to see you here. No Ian tonight. He's out of town, actually. He's still out of town. He'll be back Tuesday. He might not be here Tuesday either. But I'll make sure with him too. That's why the stream's been kind of weird recently. It's because he's been out of town doing some stuff, so we haven't really found that time to get stuff going. But we should be back soon after he gets back. We should be back to normal schedule. Yeah, yeah. Who knows? Are you streaming like a pregame? That's what this stream right now is for, Elite. It's pregame basically for tomorrow because I probably won't have time in the morning tomorrow to do pregame like normal. But that's gonna go back to normal as soon as Ian gets back and I'm at his place. So yeah, so today is week 2 picks, pregame, everything. I see you. I bet since the last time we talked, Elite. I know you're hyped and I know you're excited about the Steelers. 4 picks on Joe Burrow. Just crazy. 4 picks. They looked out of shape. The offensive line for the Bengals looked bad, just like in the Super Bowl. And I mean, it's kind of expected. Not really. It's hard to kind of just have a makeshift line and kind of just automatically fix it. Yeah. And the Falcons should have won against the Saints. 16 points in the fourth quarter, and we start playing soft coverage. Oh man, that's gonna bother me for the rest of the season, especially if we're 1 win away from the playoffs, and that kind of is this turning point. 16 points, I gotta say. And then Jacksonville, they barely lost to the Commanders. They got 2 late turnovers. Trayvon Walker with a pick as well, which was an amazing pick. And then they scored to take the lead in the fourth, early in the fourth, and it kind of didn't go great for them from there. Scary Terry got a deep touchdown, and they weren't able to recover. Michael Thomas balled out. Yeah, well, let's see the stat line. Michael Thomas only had like 30 or 40 receiving yards. Was shut down for the whole game. He got 2 touchdowns, one-on-one coverage, like little out routes. I mean, that's almost impossible to cover for like any corner. And Terrell kind of had his hand out there too. Saturday Night Live, yes sir, Antonio. Welcome. How's it going, Antonio? It's only week 1 too, yeah. I expected a lot of unexpected things to happen week 1. Week 1's the kind of thing where teams don't know each other because they're kind of just looking. They don't even have really game film on any of the starters, except from last year. So no one's gonna know how someone looks like in week 1. This week there's a lot of footage out, so I think a lot of people will adjust. A lot of the good teams will adjust and be able to figure out the things that offenses are doing and defenses are doing for certain teams. And I think we should go back to normal, hopefully, unless it's another week like that, because the NFL is unexpected. Yeah, elite. He got 2 touchdowns, and that's why everyone's praising Mark Thomas. But other than that, he got shut down, and so did Olave. They both got shut down all game. And then Kamara got shut down too. He only had like 34 rushing yards. Yeah, Antonio. Yeah, it's awesome when your team goes 1-0. That's actually I love being 1-0 just because even if you lose next week, you already won that one game, so you can't go down from there. It's just awesome to win week 1. This might be 2-0 regular season. Oh my god, yeah. The Saints have had Tom Brady's number recently, but I think that's gonna change. I think Tom Brady's gonna beat the Saints tomorrow. Chris Godwin's out for the Buccaneers, so Julio Jones is gonna step up in that number 2 spot. So he's gonna get a lot more receptions, I think. And when Julio Jones plays the Saints or Panthers, you know what happens. Yeah, Antonio, Steelers' new defense. Yeah, the Steelers' defense looks really good. Unfortunate for TJ Watt though, but thankfully it's only 6 games. And if Mitch Trubisky plays better than he did for week 1, you guys are gonna be fine. I think you guys can compete. Um, yeah, Antonio, the Vikings look very good. Justin Jefferson went off like most people expected him to. He got 180 plus yards, 2 touchdowns. Just a baller day from Justin Jefferson. Should probably might even lead the league in receiving yards by the end of the year. It's Yeah, on paper, the Vikings' offense and defense are very good. So it wasn't a surprise to me. I expected them to compete, but the way they competed out in week 1, no, that was picture perfect how they wanted to start off their week with a new coach and how to start off their season. Yeah, their offense was always had been good the last few years, but defense has been good, but they had to get better, and that's what they did, Antonio. That's what your team did, and they played well, and they blew out the Packers. It is week 1. Aaron Rodgers always somehow for some reason just looks off in week 1, and then right from there he just does his thing. And he's playing the Bears, which he's 11-1 in the last 12 years against the Bears. So, or last few years, 11-1. Yeah, he basically owns the Bears. Um, yeah, Vikings look like they should have been like the last 2 years. You guys are 4 sacks. Aaron Rodgers didn't know what he was doing. It was rough week 1 for him. Titans gonna put up a fight. I think the Titans will put up a fight for the Bills. Traylon Burks had some receptions last week against the Giants. Nothing too crazy for Traylon Burks. I watched every single game from week 1, so it was a lot of games, a lot of time, but it was fun to watch. Yeah, but I did. I watched every single game. I know Titans have had the Bills number. Ooh, a lead. Okay. I think the Titans can compete against the Bills there on tomorrow night or Monday night. I think they're gonna put a fight up for Bills, but I think the Bills are just gonna win. I think if they play like week 1, they're just gonna be overpowered. Yeah, he's Rogers and week 1 shook. Ryan Tannehill is okay, Antonio. Yeah, Derrick Henry got he got his yards, but he really mostly, for the most part, he got kind of limited by the Giants' defense because they knew what the Titans' offense is, Derrick Henry. But no, I still think the Titans can compete. I think Ryan Tannehill is a small part of why they've been making it every year because if you have to throw good passes to be able to make it somewhere, especially when Derrick Henry is out or when Derrick Henry doesn't have the biggest game ever, you're going to need someone to do it. Unfortunately, they didn't do it week 1 because the Giants made some very good plays. Saquon looked like he's back. So, yeah. When Steelers game's on, I only watch that one. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, usually what I do is I have, tomorrow's the Falcons game's at 4 o'clock, so I'll be watching Red Zone till 4, and then I'll put the Falcons games on, and then the Red Zone on my phone. Tannehill's beyond mid, but he's on the worst. Ooh, Baker. Ooh, that's close. I think I might have to take Tannehill a little bit over Baker right now. I need to see Baker kind of just continue to what he was doing with the Browns in that playoff season. I just think Ryan Tannehill is just more, I guess, more poised. I guess I'd say. Not the greatest either. Tannehill isn't, but he gets the job done, and that's what you want, especially if you're the Titans. Yeah, I know. Steelers game. It's crazy. I actually started the Steelers defense on my fantasy league just because they're going against Mac Jones and his O line. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, Antonio. Yep, we've said it plenty of times. That was a dumb move by the Browns. I don't even care. You would have had Baker right now, and they did win week one, but I think it'd just been way better with Baker there. Um, yeah. Okay, so let me go ahead and do this. Uh, let me add the camera. All right, there we go. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna have you guys look at week number 2. We're gonna go over week 2 a little bit, and then I'm gonna go down through my predictions and stuff like that. If anything you guys want me to do first, just let me know. Yeah, dude, Gino went off week 1. I mean, he played very good. Basically almost a perfect game. Like, and Gino was throwing dimes. That's what I like to see. Ian Juju put up 1 point, and Austin Eckler only had like 10. Damn. You know, the crazy thing is in my Dynasty Elite, it's a PPR league, points per point per reception league, and Eckler has 18 points in there just because of the receptions. Geno Smith for MVP. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, I know. Deshaun Watson didn't look good, and he's going to be even more rusty when he comes on the field. I'm worried about the Browns, especially. I mean, it's week 1. You won, cool. Panthers came back, cool. But you still have 10 more weeks before Deshaun Watson comes back. Oh, make them bigger. Gotcha. All right, I'll make it a little bigger. How about that? You like that better? Is that big enough? Should be big enough. All right. And let me. What's that? Screen. Just screen. There we go. Yeah, this was week 1's games. We're gonna go over to week 2. Yeah. Yeah, I know. 230 million down the drain. They owe Deshaun Watson no matter what right now. That's the crazy thing. Oh my god, I could just go on with that. Oh, let me go to week 2. Here we go. So, what do you guys think of the Thursday night game? First of all, I should ask that. I know that game was fun to watch. The Chargers look like the better team. Oh yeah, it definitely. If you guys like the stream, it definitely pushes us out onto the live stream, onto the feature and stuff like that. So if you guys can leave a like, definitely do that. Thank you, Elite. Yeah, I know, Antonio. Great hashtag. This is exactly what the Browns are. Yeah, Chiefs didn't look great. They were on a short week. I'm gonna say that, but the Chargers looked like the better team straight out the gate. They looked like the better team throughout the whole game, but costly mistake on the route. And the one thing I don't understand about that is you get a big play from Gerald Everett, right? Obviously he's gonna get tired. Obviously he's gonna be exhausted. I don't know why you hurrying it up. I mean, you have all the time in the world. You're up by 10. You're up by a touchdown on the Chiefs, and you literally want to hurry it up and make your player exhausted, and you throw a pick 6 just because of it, because he can't run his route properly. And the fact that didn't even put Eckler in, they could have taken their time as after that big Gerald Everett catch, and they could have just had Eckler in and gave him a run. That would have been the simplest call ever. Like literally, Eckler could have got a touchdown for them, and this game would have won a lot different. I don't understand the call there. Browns D is there. Yeah. The Browns D is good, and I really like their pass rush, and I like what they have at corner too with Denzel Ward, and with safety as well. I want to see a lot more out of Mari Cooper though, but I know we're gonna run a lot because they have Jacoby Brissett in there. Nick Chubb is a beast as well. Yeah, I've seen a lot of stuff about Trey Lance. Give me 1 sec. I'll get to that. Kelsey, elite Kelsey. Oh, Derwin James just pile drive him. That was awesome. Shout out Herbert, tough, bro. Yeah, Antonio. And Herbert played tough. He did throw the pick, but I think that was due to the play calling of hurrying it up and being too quick with the ball. I honestly think even one of them should have called a timeout or even just went straight to a run play because it was a big play. There's no need to rush. I mean, you're near the goal line. And dude, the fact that he like almost basically broke his rib and decided and on the second down couldn't even run a yard because his rib was hurting that bad. And then the next play he threw like a 40-yard pass dime. Oh, that's crazy. Oh, that's crazy. All right, give it a sec, guys. Oh no, elite. Yeah, no, I have a BRB screen. I mean, I'm literally by myself, and you guys are right there. So I just decided it was Julio anyways, so it's not a big deal. I would have put BRB if it was anyone else, but it's Julio, so it is what it is. I probably should have just not even muted myself either. Herbert, they said he's doing okay right now. He's day to day. He should be able to practice next week. Next week, that we're saying, but for the game wise, they are gonna be limiting him. They're gonna be watching and see how sore he is by game time, and if he's too sore to play, they won't have him play. But I expect because they have a 10-day week because of the Thursday night game, I expect him to be completely fine. All right, let me actually go to my standard screen. All right, there we go. That's the BRB screen, elite. um, yeah, Stafford did play some tough games while being injured. I'll give him that. Um, Herbert, freaking, oh my god, don't he's that toughness that he showed is insane. I know he made a mistake, but that toughness was crazy by him. Yeah, Antonio, it's hard to judge how bad it's gonna be, but they do have a 10-day leeway just because of the Thursday night game, which actually helps him more. And they're gonna see how he is. He's not gonna be practicing till next week. That's what they said. But I don't expect him to practice anyways until next week because that probably hurts a lot. And yeah, exactly restricts your breathing too. So I'm just surprised at Harvard because of that. But the Chargers looked like a better team. Chiefs got away with one, and Chiefs are now 2-0. And one thing concerned for the Chiefs right now, they have their defense is young, except Chris Jones and some pieces. Their defense is young, and they're vulnerable to big plays, and that's what they showed there, especially when they played their Justin Herbert. They outplayed them in every way. And also, Patrick Mahomes receivers, they can't go deep. He's missing his Tyreek Hill deep threat, and they tried to get that with Marquez Valdez-Scantling, but they couldn't. They haven't got anything yet. At least in week 2, so against the Chargers. So uh, it's gonna be something to look at how good the receivers can be for Kansas City because Patrick Mahomes is not gonna have that deep threat anymore, and it looked to have limited him in his options. So that's gonna be something to look forward to too, especially with the Chiefs. I know they're 2-0, but I'd be worried if I was a Chiefs fan, especially about the offense and young defense. Yeah, Karlaftis was a good draft pick. He got a sack on Thursday. I think yeah, he got a sack on Thursday, and he played very well. So he played good. He played like a pass rusher, and like that's exactly what I wanted. And McDuffie was a good pick too. Yeah, especially and good coaches. Andy Reid is a great coach, one of the best, and literally just made some perfect picks on with the rookies. Question: Have you guys had crumble cookie before? Because I have a crumble cookie right here. It's the mud mud cake. It's called a dirt cake, but it's chocolate. It's like a chocolate cookie. Um, but yeah. So week 2 is tomorrow. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they saw something. I don't know. There's a lot of mock drafts and everyone's different. Um, I don't know. Maybe they saw something that got him out of the top 15. I have no idea. That like I don't know. Maybe they just saw someone they liked better. These teams. That's why Karlaftis fell so much. So week 2, we are starting off on Sunday with Elite's team Patriots Steelers. I think that's gonna be a fun matchup between the Steelers and Patriots. I hope you can see some sort of something from the Patriots because they did not look great against the Dolphins. I mean, Bill Belichick's always going to try to be in the game, and he was. Throughout most of the game against the Dolphins, he was in the game except for the last quarter and a half. So, yeah, they were still fighting. I mean, Tua, if they played perfect football, they would have been up by like 30 or 40. It could have been a blowout, and it kind of was at the end, but they could have blown him out, like blown him out. Um, yeah, it's like yeah. I don't really get into that. It's just weird. They just got certain players that they want, especially because of maybe stories or whatnot. ESPN, NFL, all these people, they just have certain players I guess they like, or certain players that they like their story and they rank them higher than others. Um, so there's a lot of stuff going on there. But the Steelers, I'm out like Johnny C. Up exactly, Uno. The Steelers' pass rush looked insane last week, and I expect it to continue this week, even without T.J. Watt. I expect them to heavily rush the passer, and Mac Jones. I think is going to be rattled. I looking at the Patriots line from last week, it wasn't great. It wasn't very good either. So I expect the Steelers to get after Mac Jones a lot, and Mac Jones might be forced into some turnovers, might be forced to punt the ball a lot, like last week against the Dolphins. Um, their defense stopped Tua in the offense a little bit, but Tua also didn't look amazing last week. He played good game, but he didn't look amazing, and I think that's going to hurt him in the long run, especially if they make it to the playoffs. But Mac Jones, let's see what he can do with his receivers. Let's see what he can make. Let's see if the offensive line gives Mac Jones times. But I'm gonna go with the Steelers here as my pick for that game because I love what they're doing on defense. And if Mitch Trubisky can play better than he did last week, he played well he played okay last week. So, and he played actually pretty well. Didn't play great or anything, but he played enough to win the game, and that's what they did. He went down and scored got them to the field goal winning in overtime, and they won that game. So I expect the Steelers to be dominant in the pass rush and rattle Mac Jones. I'm gonna take the Steelers here for week 1. And then we got a what looks to be a good game in the Panthers and the Giants, who are 1-0. The Giants obviously coming from the big victory over Tennessee Titans last week. Going for 2 was a gutsy call by Brian Dable and company, and they got it. Saquon, it looked like he's back, and I hope he continues to do that. It's going to be a battle between Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey. Um, so 2 backs that were injured the last few years and trying to make their return. That's literally the storyline for this one. It's clearly written. Saquon's been hurt the last few years. McCaffrey's been hurt. So that's going to be fun to watch. And also Baker Mayfield and Daniel Jones, whoever plays better is going to win this game. And Baker Mayfield found something in Robbie Anderson last week, a deep touchdown, a 75-yard touchdown, 70-plus yard touchdown to Robbie Anderson last week. And then Daniel Jones, he just don't make mistakes. He made an awful mistake in the red zone, threw an interception in the end zone, and that almost cost him the game. And if Daniel Jones plays well, he was having a good game before that. He was throwing semi accurately, didn't really get to move the ball too much against the Titans until the second half, but if he can do his job and make accurate throws, Giants have a chance in this game. And also Baker, if he gets his Robbie Anderson to get going again, he's going to have him deep. And then he also still has DJ Moore and Christian McCaffrey. I expect him to go off. What's up, Eddie? How's it going? I'm going to take the Panthers here against the Giants. I like what the Giants are doing, but I don't think they have the personnel on defense like the Panthers do to be able to win this game. And that's what it comes down to. And I think Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback than Daniel Jones right now. We'll see how they do. We'll see how Baker plays, but I think Baker will be able to get some deep balls on that secondary of the Giants in that game. So I'm taking the Panthers there. And then next we have the Jets and the Browns. The Jets are coming off a horrible loss. Well, not horrible, because as I said, I watched every single game, and the Jets, they played defense against Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson didn't have a perfect game either. He threw some nice passes there at the end to make the score look over, but other than that, he missed some throws, and Lamar couldn't lead drives as well as I thought he was going to. And the Jets defense actually played well. Sauce played well, and just not being able to do anything on offense was the Jets' problem last week against the Ravens. Especially with Joe Flacco in there with Zach Wilson being out. Joe Flacco didn't have a great game. He was missing throws constantly, and he was missing open receivers. He had Garrett Wilson on a little zig route in the end zone, had him wide open, and literally just overshot him. That would have been a touchdown right there. And it's those missed opportunities from the Jets that cost him that game against the Ravens, because they would have made it at least competitive if Joe Flacco actually hit his throws, hit the receivers, because the defense was playing well enough to make some stops to get them back in that game. And the Browns leading the way with Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt got 2 touchdowns like last week against the Panthers. He looked good. Nick Chubb always looks good. He's just a beast on the ground game, and that's what they're relying on, and it's worked for them. Jacoby Brissett, he did what he needed to do. Wasn't the best quarterback on the field, but he did his job. So that's what the Browns need to do again, and I think they have a good enough defense and pass rush with Myles Garrett, Jadeveon Clowney, and all that, and Denzel Ward and all that. I think they have just a good enough defense to be able to shut down Joe Flacco and the Jets, and I think they're going to get a lot of sacks on Joe Flacco, just because Joe Flacco is right now is tending to hold on to the ball a little bit, and I'm taking the Browns here. I would take the Jets only if Zach Wilson showed he can play well and if he was on the team, if he wasn't hurt. But the Browns I'm taking here, I think they're going to win against the Jets easily. I don't have any faith in the Jets except their defense can play well. That's about it. This might actually be a low-scoring game if both defenses play and force a lot of turnovers, because both have backup quarterbacks in. This might actually be lower scoring than we think. Or it could just be a blowout from Browns. I'm taking the Browns here, though. Next up, we have the Colts and the Jaguars. We all know the record. The Jaguars have won like the last 4 games against the Colts at home. They have a very good road record. And they also looked well last week. Trevor didn't look the best last week. He did miss a lot of throws last week, which is a little unfortunate. And also his receivers did miss drop open passes last week as well. The defense got to Carson Wentz, though. They were getting some sort of pass rush, especially in the second half. Traylon Walker got a late pick. The defense got another pick late in the game. And they were up leading against the Commanders at one point. Then they slowly lost it along the way at the end of the game with big scary Terry. I don't know why you say Terry scary. Big scary Terry touchdown. I think the Colts are going to be without Shaquille Leonard, their star linebacker. They're going to be without Alec Pierce, their rookie receiver, and they're going to be without Michael Pittman, unfortunately. So they're going to have their backups in the wide receivers, which might play towards the Jaguars' favor, especially if they can get the pass rush on Matt Ryan. And the Colts, I think their defense is good enough to be able to stop Trevor Lawrence and the Jaguars. So this one could be low scoring too, especially if both defenses get pass rush. I don't think it's going to be low scoring. I think the Colts are going to win by like 2 touchdowns. But I think the Jaguars, if they're going to have a chance, they're going to need to pass rush Matt Ryan. They're going to need to get some sacks on him. They're going to need to cover the receivers well as well. Their secondary needs to play good too. I'm taking the Colts here. Matt Ryan is undefeated against the Jaguars. So I have him undefeated still, even as a Colt. So I think the Colts are going to win here in Jacksonville. The next game you see is Dolphins-Ravens. Now this is going to be one of the more fun matchups of the week. You saw what Tua's offense did last week against the Patriots. You saw what the Ravens did last week against the Jets. Even without Marquise Brown, Lamar had some touchdowns from Devin Duvernay and Rashad Bateman as well. So we're going to see they're going to be put to the test against the Dolphins, the Ravens are. And if they get shut on a run, you're going to have to rely on Lamar to pass the ball. And that's where the Dolphins are going to kind of clap their hands, because if they can get Lamar into passing situations, they're going to be able to play defense. They have a chance of winning this game, and so do the Ravens. The Ravens, if Tua doesn't play almost a perfect game, it's going to be tough against the Ravens defense as well. I'm not sold on Tua yet. He has receivers. He did underthrow a lot of receivers last week. Especially, you guys probably saw the clip. He underthrew Tyreek Hill by like a mile. I don't even think it was batted either. But yeah, he underthrew it. So I have the Ravens winning this game, even though it's going to be a close game. I think it's going to be a close game. Dolphins have all the weapons in the world. Tua looked okay last week, so I think he can lead some sort of drives down the field for touchdowns. And then the Ravens, I just think they're a better team. I think Lamar is going to be able to run all over them. And I think the Ravens, Lamar can pass as well. He's going to show them that Baltimore offense. So I'm going to take the Ravens here. Oh, let me go down a little bit. All right, so next up, we have the Buccaneers and the Saints. The Saints have Tom Brady's number recently, and if you guys know, they held them to 9 points last year. They held them good, and the Saints played really well against Tom Brady. And Buccaneers are going to be without Chris Godwin, but I think Tom Brady is Tom Brady. I think he's going to be able to score against the Saints defense. Marcus Mariota did it on the ground a lot against them. He was able to hit play action passes on the Saints defense. This so-called improved defense that was supposed to be amazing allowed 26 points last week. I don't see Tom Brady losing this game against the Saints. Jameis has to play well. He didn't play well last game until the fourth quarter. And I don't think he plays well again because of the Buccaneers pass rush and their defense. Give me the Buccaneers here. Tom Brady. I think they're going to win by 2 touchdowns. Another good one right there at 1 o'clock. Commanders, Lions. That's going to probably be one of the game of the weeks right there, just because both of them are 0-1. They want to get their season back on track. Commanders are 1-0. Almost 0-1 for Commanders. But the Lions are going to try to get their season back on track, and I really like the Lions team. They have a lot of fight to them. They almost came back against the Eagles. They needed one stop. And I really like this Lions team, and Carson Wentz played good until the fourth quarter where he had those 2 big mistakes. But other than that, he played very well last week against the Jaguars. No surprise there. And the Commanders' offense looks good. They have weapons on offense. They have a defense. I love Jonathan Allen and Montez Sweat on the line. they shut down. They were pass rushing Trevor Lawrence like crazy last week, and I expect them to do the same to Jared Goff. Um, Lions offensive line needs to play well if they have a chance. You see some upsets, Antonio. Which ones? Which ones do you think in upsets? The Lions offensive line is gonna have to play well. The Lions defense is gonna have to play good too. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna take the Lions here. I do like the Commanders' offense a lot in their pass rush, but I think the Lions. This is the one to win. If they're gonna win a game this year, if they're gonna win some games this year, this is the one. Hello, hello. Okay. That's gonna be a game they can win. Next up, we got the Seahawks and Niners. Geno Smith played really good. Trey Lance did not. Hey, 49ers Bears, it was a very muddy, very rainy game. Just soaked in rain, everybody was. The puddles everywhere, even in the stadium. Soaking wet water. Waterfalls dripping from the stadium. Um, Jags will beat the Colts. Texans will upset the Broncos. Ooh. And Hawks have the Niners. Ooh, okay. I don't. I don't see the Colts. I see the Colts winning that game against the Jags. I'll get to the Texans Broncos game in a minute. Um, the Hawks, they do have a chance, especially if they play defense like they did last week. And if Trey Lance continues to underperform, Seahawks definitely have a chance here. Geno Smith needs to play like he did last week, and if you continue that, the Seahawks are a dangerous offense, especially with their receivers. And he used the tight ends a lot more last week than his receivers, which was crazy too. We're gonna add Mr. Julio in here today. Hello. All right. Let me pull you up. Let me go to the two-person thing. Let me go to. Pull this up. And let me turn my camera. What's up, Julio? Oh my god. My camera needs to come up. All right. Mike Pittman's out. Who's he thrown to? Alec Pierce is out. Ali Cox. I think Matt Ryan's gonna make the receivers better, whoever he has. I think Ashton Doolin's still there. I think Kiki Qt, they responded to him. He's pretty fast. I just think Matt Ryan's just a better quarterback than Trevor Lawrence, obviously. And I think their defense is good enough to be able to stop Trevor Lawrence. And I think Jonathan Taylor is going to be able to get some gashes on them, especially in the middle, because their D tackles aren't great. The only thing the Jaguars, what they have going for them is their pass rush. Um, if their pass rush can get there, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a low scoring. It's going to be a tough game for both teams, especially. Oh, I heard that. Yeah, no, let me turn that off real quick. And then we should be good on the. Yeah, your camera's good. You just need to get back to it. Yeah, your camera's good. Yeah, there we go. One sec. Okay. Oh god. There we go. Julio's a big Patriots fan. Oh man. Oh yeah, make sure you put your phone sideways. Oh my god. I'm going over to week 2 games right now. Antonio said the Jags is going to beat the Colts this week. Um, I don't see that, but hey, they have a chance, especially if they can get pass rush. If the pass rush plays like last week, they definitely can. Especially since Michael Pittman's out too, and Alec Pierce is out. Um, yep, yep. He also said Texans will upset the Broncos. Yeah, Antonio, they made a good dude. Traylon Walker was always good. He was in that Georgia defense. The Georgia defense was spectacular last year. I think Traylon Walker was a hell of a pick. I still like Aiden Hutchinson better, but they could have gone either way. Either one would have been fine. And I like Aiden Hutchinson better, but Traylon Walker is still a beast. So, and he's a Georgia boy, which I like. What was that? I was on Seahawks 49ers. He didn't have the greatest game last week. He did make some good throws, but he didn't play the greatest. Yeah, that's what Tony said too. He said upsets Hawks over the Niners as well. If Trey Lance continues to play bad, didn't play displays just like he did last week. Given we haven't seen him yet in normal weather, oh, you can't hear Julio, my bad. Here you go, Julio, talk.
Hello, hello.
Okay, you can say that again. They couldn't hear you.
Yeah, like I said, I'm gonna put Gino to win. He definitely, I think Pratesh can, attest to this, but he definitely shut my prediction down last week. I thought Russ was gonna walk all over him and everything, and that didn't really happen.
Yeah, it is week one. I expect some of these teams to get upsets early in week one because they have no film on them for this year. So it's kind of tough to see what they're doing, especially in week one. But the Seahawks can play well. Their defense, I want to see after a few games how they look because yes, they did play well against Russell Wilson and the Broncos, but it is week one. It was their first game. Russell, um, this is his first time coming out with that new offense. Um, yeah, I see the Seahawks. They played amazing defense last week on Thursday on Monday night against the Broncos. But yeah, they play. I want to see after a few weeks how they're looking because they don't have on paper they don't have the best defense.
No.
The Jamal Adams loss is big. He's out for a season again. He's been injury prone, unfortunately. Hopefully we see him back next year. I don't know if the Seahawks are going to keep him. If he's on contract, the Seahawks probably going to keep him. But yeah,
Yeah,
no, unfortunate for that.
No.
Yeah, and a lot of people were clowning him for his coverage.
Yeah. But don't get me wrong, Jamal Adams can be named like definitely like a really good safety up there. He's I think he's literally known for being the hardest hitting, safety in the league. Um,
I think that
who
went to
knows?
Dervin James just recently.
That definitely went to Derwin James. But I think, Jamal Adams is up there, forced fumbles is up there, coverage is not up there, but he's just scared. People are scared of him just because of his hit power. But now he's out for the season. But I still think the Seahawks can still get a decent amount of upsets even with him being gone.
Yeah, Antonio. They're gonna be exactly. They didn't give up so much for him, so I don't see him. I don't see him getting rid of him, but he is not playing. He's been injury prone for them, and he hasn't been playing like he did in New York with the Seahawks, unfortunately. Because in New York, he was considered one of the best safeties in the league.
Yeah,
So
when he was on the Jets, he was really good.
yeah,
Absolutely.
him and Marcus May were good in that year.
That was
One year
that
they
was
were
the
there.
combo. That was the deadly combo.
But for Seahawks Niners, I'm gonna. Antonio said, I'm gonna go. I want to go Seahawks just because I like Gino, but Gino is prone to mistakes, and I need to see it another week from him. I'm gonna go 49ers here. Antonio said, Julio, y'all offense is extremely concerning. Mac Jones looking like Pac-Man. Jones playing QB.
Yeah, it also didn't help that they didn't start our number 2 receiver till the last 5 minutes of the fourth quarter at the end of the game, and he got a huge play of 42 yards. That was like his only thing. He came in at the last couple minutes of the fourth. My prediction is something Kendrick Bourne definitely had to do something with Belichick. I was like, yeah, you're sitting out for this game, even though yeah, it's week 1, so you probably didn't care. Um, and yeah, and Mac Jones, he's not. Thank God, nothing's positive from the back injury, but I think we can definitely come back with that. And we kind of shut down Tyreek too. Tyreek didn't get anything deep. Just basically, just with our defense, it's more so you see it throughout the years. It's very hard for us to cover fast receivers for like short plays in the middle and everything.
Antonio said, tell your coach to draft some good wideouts and sign someone who can help him out. He has potential.
Yeah, definitely. Like Devontae Parker, great pickup. I think he's gonna do well for the team. But if we can always, everyone always makes fun of the Patriots because who was in the draft class with N'Keal Harry, and we picked N'Keal Harry up before who was it? Debo,
DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf. Yep, and we picked up N'Keal Harry, and he's not even with us anymore.
Yep.
So yeah, go Pats.
So I picked the 49ers over the Seahawks just because I need to see more from Geno to make that pick certain. And I think the 49ers defense is going to come back to normal. I think Trey Lance can play well in that offense as well. I think you might see a different Trey Lance this week than last week. It was horrible weather collections last week. No excuse for Trey Lance, but if he plays bad again, the Seahawks have a chance here. But I'm going 49ers.
And also, like playing the Broncos last week, Broncos really don't have that good of pass rush either. So now, going against the Niners, you got Bosa out there. Who else they got as a D tackle? Some
Both,
actually pass rush.
yeah.
So now Geno Smith's actually gonna feel the pass rush. His Broncos is really not so much with that. So but I'm still going Geno. Me personally, I think he can definitely step up. So my pick is definitely gonna be the Seahawks.
All right. All right. The next game we have at 4 o'clock is Falcons and Rams. A big thing to note here is the Rams. They obviously didn't look good against the Bills. They got blown out by the Bills. Their offense was out of sync. Matthew Stafford only threw to Cooper Kupp and screwed the other receivers, apparently. I'm not going to say anything else about that because I can't. But he only threw to Cooper Kupp. And Cooper Kupp did his job. He got a lot of receiving yards. I expect Cooper Kupp to have a good season, but they Bills didn't blitz once, and that O line looked horrible. Matthew Stafford was pressured heavily, made horrible throws, horrible interceptions. And if the Falcons can have as good as pass rush as they did last week against James Winston, I think Falcons can win this game. I think they can keep it close, especially if our pass rush plays as good as we did last week, and if Mariota plays well like he did last week, and if he continues to run that offense like he's been doing last game. Especially if he can run the ball well, especially with Damon Williams out, Tyler Algier is getting that starting spot with second behind Cordero. That means Tyler Algier is going to heavily be running. Cordero is going to be running too, but when they have Cordero and White out, they're going to have Tyler Algier running too. I'm excited to see Tyler Algier a lot. I think he can be a really good back, and hopefully he can prove it here. But if we get that going, we were able to move at ease on the offense last week. We just couldn't get in the red zone as much as we'd like to. But yeah, if that pass rush works for the Falcons, if Mariota plays well like last week, I think we have a chance of winning this game.
Yeah, I'm going Falcons for my pick, honestly. yeah, Bills definitely blew out the Rams because it's just the Bills and Josh Allen. But I think the Falcons can make an upset against the Super Bowl champs. Honestly, yes, Rams lost Von Miller and they picked up Bobby Wagner. Bobby Wagner, I believe, had 17 tackles against the Bills, but um, the Bills have, you know, Josh Allen has targets, but honestly, I think the Falcons have, and Mariota is going to be targeting everyone more than Josh Allen. You got Cordero, you got Kyle Pitts, you got, you know, Algier now. So basically, Rams defense is probably going to have to definitely step it up against Mariota and Falcons offense. And then, like Cortez was saying, that pass rush against the Saints was nasty. So if they can get that again against Matthew Stafford and get that pressure, and if Matthew Stafford only throws to Cooper Kupp, I think the Falcons can definitely get the win this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Falcons here again. Hey, I may be wrong, but if our pass rush works like it did last week, it's gonna be a close game than anyone thinks. I'm going Falcons. The next game we have up is Cardinals and Raiders. The Cardinals' offense last week was stagnant against the Chiefs, and the Chiefs have a very young secondary, so it's not an excuse to say it's the Chiefs. That's why we didn't do good. The Cardinals' offense did not look good last week at all, and I don't know what they're doing with the offensive line either. The offensive line is not great for the Cardinals. Kyler Murray, he played okay, and that defense allowed 45 plus points to the Chiefs. I mean, I was worried about their defense from the beginning. I know I talked about a lot about Week 1 flukes, but Cardinals are out of that Week 1 fluke list because there's a lot of worrisome for the Cardinals right now, especially with the loss of Chandler Jones, their best pass rusher, excluding J.J. Watt, but J.J. Watt's getting older and aging. I'm worried about the Cardinals, especially if they can't get their offense together. Their defense isn't great, and that's that. No Week 1 fluke for them because I'm worried about the Cardinals right now.
Yeah, especially D Hop still got what after this week, 4 more weeks, 4 more games till he comes back.
Yeah.
And it's my question is like, is the Cardinals offense gonna finally get a boom in greatness when D Hop comes back?
Mm-hmm. And the Raiders, they last week they lost against the Chargers. They kind of came back, but Derek Carr played horrible last week. He didn't play great. He was missing throws. He threw 3 interceptions, horrible interception, I should say. I think one was a tip, but most of them were really bad passes. And Derek Carr, in my opinion, he's good, but he's not Russell Wilson. And that's one of the things. Russell Wilson's obviously a better quarterback. Derek Carr didn't play well last week, and I think he can bounce back here against the Cardinals. He has Devontae Adams. They had a few receptions with each other. They were making their connection well last week. And Darren Waller, all that offense and the defense as well. I think they can get a boost up. Even though I don't think the Raiders' secondary and their defense isn't best. I think the Raiders have a chance against the Cardinals. And if the Cardinals look like they did last week, the Raiders are going to win this thing.
Yeah, my pick is definitely going to be the Raiders. I agree with the secondary. Their pass rush is there. They definitely got their line. Kyler's most likely going to have to be super athletic to get around that pass rush with the Raiders. And the Raiders offense, yeah, Derek Carr didn't play the best last week, but I think he has the weapons to go up against the Cardinals defense. So and with Chandler Jones out also, yeah, my pick is definitely going to be the Raiders this week.
Yeah, I'm gonna go to Raiders. Yeah, Antonio. The Cardinals' offense looked so stagnant last week. The only way it's gonna work is if they change something up, and if Kyler Murray actually gets time to throw the ball. That's the only things they change it up. Kyler Murray gets a little bit of time to work with. I think the Cardinals need to trade for a tackle or something right now. I don't care who they give up. Give up J.J. Watt if you have to. You just need a tackle. You need a good old lineman for Kyler Murray right now.
Yeah,
Um,
Cardinals went crazy with the wide receivers and everything in the offseason when they really should have been focused on protecting Kyler Murray, because Kyler Murray can't run around the freaking in the backfield forever, and that's what he's doing, and that's what's going to keep happening all season.
and I would love to see him get some more pieces of free agency. I don't know how much cap space they had, but at least to get somebody on for their defense with the loss of Chandler Jones, that would have been nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're both going Raiders here. Next game we have is the Texans and Broncos. Texans dude, I'm not sure about Kingsbury right now. If he has another bad season, they should fire him. And he
Yeah.
continues to pass. I think they're gonna give him this year as well, Antonio, unless they have a horrible record. But I think if they don't win a playoff game this year, or if they don't make the playoffs, he's gonna get fired. But the Texans, last week, Davis Mills looked good. He looked like the best second-year quarterback out of all of them, and he
Yep.
wasn't even one of the top 5 either.
Nope.
Davis Mills played well and actually got a really 17-point lead up on the Colts. Colts looked out of sync and everything. Colts did come back. They're Texans on paper. They're the worst team in the league. Their defense has no names. Derek Stingley played well last week too, which helped a lot. And the Texas defense played well against the Colts. But they did allow the Colts to come back, and they went into overtime, and they tied. The Broncos are looking to come back from a Week 1 loss against the Seahawks, where their offense was out of sync again because Russell Wilson, his first game, horrible call not to go for it on 4th and 5 with a $250 million plus quarterback. And I think the Broncos team in general is just a better team than Texans. I think Davis Mills can play well. It's really going to be up to how much pass rush they got on Russell Wilson, because I don't trust the Texans pass rush to get there like the Seahawks did. And that's what really helped the Seahawks as well. They played good coverage and they had some pass rush, which really helped against the Broncos. But I don't think the Texans can do that. So I'm going to take the Broncos here.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to go with the Broncos, but we also can't forget when Russell Wilson, with like little less than a minute left, it was like 50 something seconds, and he called the timeout with 20 seconds left, and then Peyton Manning yelling at his screen to actually call timeout. That was a chance for Russell Wilson, but yeah,
He did that. They put a counter. He did that like 80 times.
yeah, it was like 70 or 80 times timeout. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god.
Yeah, with his brother Eli on the screen. But we won't talk about that. And also, like, the pressure was on Russ. Just yeah, he had I trust that Russell Wilson was in the zone that game, but to be booed at your own stadium, everything was going on through his head playing his own team week 1. So not an excuse. I'm not making an excuse for him, but I can probably I could feel where he's coming from. But yeah, Texans against the Colts, great game. But Texans let Matt Ryan and that offense come back and tied it for that week. Me personally, yeah, I'm gonna stick with the Broncos because I think Russell Wilson is gonna be more comfortable. He's all different receivers. His line looked great protecting him.
I don't think
So
his running backs are gonna fumble too either like last week. So
yeah, I don't.
hey, what's up, Bruno?
Yeah,
Welcome back.
I don't think Javonte Williams is gonna fumble again. Hopefully not. Um, but yeah. So I think that's probably what the strength coaches and the running back coaches are probably practicing right now. Hold the ball, Javonte.
Dude, they
Probably.
both fumbled at the goal line. Like,
Yep.
oh my
Yep. They
god.
probably, the running back coach probably is like duct taping the ball to Javante's hands to his hands right now, saying this is what it's supposed to feel like. And so yeah, so my pick, I'm gonna go Broncos. I think Russ can finally be 1-1 now.
We're down to the primetime games and the last game at 4 o'clock, which is the Bengals and Cowboys. The Bengals did not look good last week against the pass rush of the Steelers. The O line was brand new O line. I think they only have one lineman back from last year, and their whole line's different. And Joe Burrow looked shaken up. He threw 4 interceptions, two horrible ones, 2 tips. Yeah, dude, they're gonna let Russ cook. Uno, I agree with you. Russ is gonna cook this game. If you thought Seahawks maybe there was a little letdown last week, but Russ is gonna cook against the Texans. I don't doubt it at all. The the Bengals they didn't look good last week, but they did end up coming back with their offense, and I think the Bengals offense is good, and I think they can play good defense as well. Jesse Bates is there. Trey Hendrickson can pass rush. The Cowboys just lost Dak Prescott for 6 games. That's going to be huge because their offense was already stagnant against the Bucks, and they didn't. They only got 3 points. They were the only team in the NFL to not have a touchdown last week, and their defense did what they could. They didn't get blown. They got kind of blown out in a defensive way. They didn't get blown out offensively. The Cowboys defense played well enough to let Dak Prescott come back into the game, but their offense couldn't do anything. So defense kind of had to get 3-and-outs constantly, and you can't do that forever, especially against Tom Brady.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree. No, I definitely agree. I definitely felt that in my fantasy league. Good old Dak Prescott getting me a good old big 5 points, but it's all right though. So yeah, so he's out, I think, 6 to 8 weeks. It's all
Russ
right.
for MVP. That's what Uno said.
Yep. Yeah. Too bad I picked Dak Prescott over Derek Carr in the draft, but we won't talk about it. It's fine.
Oh, we were there live, huh?
Yeah. So that was off the record. We'll delete that in the podcast. I mean, yeah.
No, I mean the draft was live, so everyone saw it.
Yeah, so it's fine. And there might be a spreadsheet of it, but who knows if that's true or not, but yeah, so I don't know. Who are you going with your pick?
I'm going Bengals here.
I'm gonna go Bengals, just because Dak isn't in, but also the Cowboys defense, I feel like is gonna give Burrow a problem, but without Dak in, I don't. Even though he didn't do anything against the Bucks, I don't think he's gonna be doing much against the Bengals.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if they weren't doing anything last week against the Bucks. I don't think the backup's going to be able to do anything. I think they're going to be stagnant again, the offense, especially with their backup in Cooper Rush. Yeah. Honestly, at this point, if the Cowboys want to salvage their season right now and not take too many losses, they're going to trade for Jimmy G. And that's what they have to do if they want to win some games. And if they don't do it, and to keep Cooper Rush in, they're going to lose a lot of these games that Dak's out.
Yep.
Next up, Sunday Night Football, Bears and Packers. Justin Fields threw a horrible interception early, but had a very good game other than that. Especially in the second half, he came alive and found Dante Pettis for a wide open 75-plus yard touchdown. It was crazy. Justin Fields threw the ball accurately when he could throw it without the rain messing him up. And I think Justin Fields played well. The Packers last week, they looked like Week 1 Packers. Their Rodgers looked bad. The Christian Watson dropped a wide open touchdown, which was horrible. That could have changed momentum for them early in the game. The defense let the Vikings offense run all over them and throw all over them with Justin Jefferson. They allowed 184 yards and 2 touchdowns to Justin Jefferson. Not a very good sign right now. The Bears, they don't have an O-line, but yet they beat the 49ers. It was heavily raining, so that might be a fluke right now. I'm going to go Packers here. I think they go back to form, but don't be surprised if it's closer, unlike the Packers-Bears have been the last few years.
Yeah. Honestly, it's like me and Pritesh and I, we talked off camera. I think it was like today, and we were talking about that game. Trey Lance versus Justin Fields, and yes, we talked about like the whole rain situation, but we both agreed that it's not an excuse for him. And we want to talk about Justin Fields in the rain. I think Justin Fields and the team had a fun time after they won. After the rain. That was pretty cool to see live.
Yeah, and they won by 9 points too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So honestly, I think Justin Fields has the confidence now. Right, against the Packers, but I want to give it to Justin Fields, but I think Aaron Rodgers is gonna tighten up the screws, batten down, and I think he's gonna become, you know,
The
end season.
sheriff.
Aaron Rodgers is gonna become like the mid season heading to playoffs. Aaron Rodgers starting now. So I'm gonna give it to the Packers. Even though Pritesh said, it might be close, it might be an upset. But I think Justin Fields is still going to do really good. But I think Aaron Rodgers tightening up some screws and everything. I think he's going to come out with the dub.
The Chiefs and Packers offense kind of look the same just because they both quarterbacks have no receivers right now. And if the Packers receivers can't get open, especially against the Bears, because they did play very good defense against Trey Lance last week, it's gonna hurt the Packers a lot. Because if the Bears cover the Packers receivers, they're gonna get the pass rush, especially with Roquan Smith's in the middle there, and their pass rush is still have I forgot his name, but their pass rush can get there, and it could be a close one. Eddie Jackson back there, yep, too.
Yep. So yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, both Aaron Rodgers and Mahomes, they're almost in the same situation. Both losing their number one wide receivers. Mahomes, I guess you could say Mahomes adapted better than Rodgers. But like I said, I think Rodgers is gonna tighten up and just he's gonna ball out. But Justin Fields is most likely probably gonna have a good game also.
Yeah, we both got Packers there. Now to the last two Monday Night Football games. Starting off with the Titans and Bills. The Titans looked like they were going to win the game last week and let the Giants get some get some touchdowns, and let them get the 2-point conversion in a 2-point conversion that shouldn't have even made it because Saquon Barkley was 3 yards from the goal line and somehow fought his way in for a 2-point conversion. And the Bills, they look like the playoff Bills from last week. I know Josh Allen threw 2 interceptions last week. One not his fault, one his fault. But the offense is too good. The defense is too good for Von Miller. I don't see them losing this game. I think they just look like the best team in the NFL right now. And it's going to be a scary thing for Titans. Titans can compete, I think. But the Bills, I think they're just going to win this game.
Yeah, I think the Bills are mainly going to focus on trying to stop Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry did not have the best game last week against the Giants. But I think the Bills are going to be focusing on Derrick Henry. I say Derrick Henry's I don't think Derrick Henry's going to get over 100 yards. I don't think so. I think the Bills' defense is definitely going to stop him, especially with Von Miller coming in too for as a run stopper too, and edge rusher. So and like you said, Bills defense, Bills offense looks like the best in the whole league right now. Especially though their whole team looks like the best in the whole league. So I'm definitely gonna go the Bills. Even though they're in the same division as my team. Even though my team will probably be on top of the division, but
oh my god, okay. Yikes.
Yep, so that was off record too. We're not recording that, but yeah. So I definitely got Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills winning this week.
Yeah, Burks looked good in practice, but then again, you can't really judge it off of that because Burks is going against the Titans defense, which I don't think is the best, and they're not as good as the Bills, especially. And he's going against his own team. I mean, it's obviously going to be easier for him to cook against his own defense, especially if he has plenty of practice against them. He had some good yardage last week. I just need to see him take that next step against some tougher corners, especially with Tre'Davious White still out for the Bills. I need him to be able to get some deep balls. Ryan Tannehill needs to get him the ball too. If he can perform next week, tomorrow, Monday night, then I think Titans have a chance. But I'm going to Bills still here.
Yep.
And then last but not least, the last game of week 2, on the Monday night doubleheader, at 8:30 p.m. we got the Vikings and the Eagles, which should be a very, very offensive explosion game. The Vikings offense exploded last week. They shut down Aaron Rodgers in that offense with no receivers. And the Eagles, they play against the Lions. Let the Lions come back a little bit, which I'm a little worried about, especially with that defense supposed to be really good. Jalen Hurts looked very good. The running backs looked very good. AJ Brown looked like AJ Brown, so no worries there. The Vikings offense looks so good. It's gonna come down to Jalen Hurts or Kirk Cousins, who's gonna make the mistake first, and which defense is gonna be able to limit them to 3 outs.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm gonna go. So I think Jalen Hurts is gonna be a couple games wonder boy this season. I don't think he's going to, you know, uh, be like a Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes kind of. I think Jalen Hurts is only going to be a couple games wonder. He looked really great last week. But I think Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson are going to run all over their team or run all over the Eagles. I honestly think, yeah, I'm gonna go Vikings. I'm gonna definitely go Vikings this week.
I'm gonna go Vikings here too. I think if the Vikings play like they did last week, I think they're gonna be a tough team to stop this season. And the Eagles, their defense is good. I like their defense a lot, but it's gonna be hard to stop Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, and company, especially Dalvin Cook as well.
Yeah, like I think the Eagles. Run stopping defense is great. They got a really good line right there. But secondary, I I think Eagles secondary is gonna have issues with the Vikings wideouts though, with the offense.
CJ Gardner-Johnson for the Eagles just made some plays last week, but he's not great. He's not that great either. So yeah, I think I'm taking the Vikings here. Me and Julio taking the Vikings. And that is the last game of week 2. Uno, appreciate you for being here. Antonio, thank you for coming by. Elite, thank you for coming by. Eddie, thank you for coming by. Yeah.
I got something.
Yeah.
I wasn't here for this, but you guys talked about Patriots Steelers. Who did you have?
I picked Steelers to win. I think it's
gonna. Guys, have a great game. Have a great time. Have a great weekend.
Yeah, I picked Steelers to win. I think this pass rush for Steelers and their defense is gonna rattle Mac Jones a little bit, especially with how the O-line looked against the Dolphins.
Can't hear. Internet's going
out. All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, just let us know. But if you guys don't, we're gonna head out. Thank you guys for watching. This is our week 2 prediction / week 2 pregame. We'll be back to normal next week. Oh well, not next week. I'll be away next week, but I'll be on the stream next week, just like in this format. But yeah, have a good night, Uno. I appreciate you guys for stopping by. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.
Thank you for watching the PI Podcast. Make sure you subscribe and tune in next time so you don't miss the latest news in the NFL world. You can also follow us on TikTok at PIPodcast and on Twitter at PIPodcasters. Until next time.